So we are now into the new year and 2025 is officially here. So in today's video, I want to talk about the credit card strategy that my partner and I will be running in our 2-player setup this year. And there's 5 key parts to that strategy that I wanted to touch on in today's video. The first part of our strategy is going to be expanding our credit card reward redemptions to more than just flights. My partner and I are unfortunately nearing the end of our travel era. We did a total of 4 international trips last year, traveling across East Asia, across Taiwan and Japan at the beginning of the year in March, before heading to New York in April, and then traveling through Southeast Asia across Singapore, Bangkok, and Malaysia. And then most recently, we did a road trip across the South Islands in New Zealand. We've been really trying to travel as much as we can right now before we potentially look to slow things down over the next 1 to 2 years and potentially look to start a family. So there definitely won't be as many opportunities for us to redeem all of our points for big travels over the next 3 to 5 years. Now, between the both of us, my partner and I still have a pretty big stash of frequent flyer points available. With Qantas, we have around 300,000 points, with Velocity around 200,000 points, and with American Express, we have over 800,000 reward points. Whilst it's always good to have a stash of points available in your back pocket so that you can make those last minute reward bookings, I think that hoarding points is also not a good strategy, as over time your points will devalue, which we've seen time and time again across multiple programs such as Velocity and American Express last year. Now, we already have 2 trips planned this year, which we did book using points. So in February, we'll be traveling to Phuket for a friend's wedding, which will be traveling in economy class through Singapore Airlines. I booked these flights whilst they were having their global redemption sale, which saved us 25% off. So instead of costing us 61,000 points each return, we only paid 47,500 points. One big regret that I have now with this flight is that we actually had the opportunity to fly one of the legs in business class. However, because it wasn't eligible for the global redemption sale, I decided to just stick with economy and get more value out of my points, which looking back now was definitely a silly decision. I think that whenever you get an opportunity to book business class reward flights with points, you should definitely be taking it. So learn from my mistakes and don't be like me and not book it just because you're not getting as good of a deal. The second trip that we have booked is for our big Europe trip in May, which I booked over 6 months ago now in June of last year. We'll be flying with Qatar in their Q suites via Doha to Madrid. And then for our return leg, we'll be flying with Singapore Airlines in their business class as well, departing from Istanbul via Singapore back to Melbourne. With all that being said, all of those trips have already been booked with points, so we still have a large stash of points that we still have available right now. So one of the methods that we'll explore is to actually use our reward points to book hotel stays. Specifically, we'll be transferring some of our AMEX reward points to the Marriott or the Hilton Honors rewards programs. Whilst we definitely won't get as much value from our points compared to redeeming for a business class reward flight, as long as we can get around 1.5 cents per point in value, then I'll gladly take that. By doing this, we should be able to redeem some of our AMEX reward points so that it's just not sitting there devaluing over time. Now, the other side of that equation is by reducing the amount of reward points that we actually earn next year, which is the second part of our strategy moving into 2025, which is to strike a balance between earning cashback and reward points. Last year, all of the credit cards that we opened had a sign-up bonus that were linked to a frequent flyer program, with the majority of them being with Velocity. But this year, we want to stop focusing on that as much and instead start earning more cashback. Because we already have so many points, there's just less incentive for us to earn them. By focusing on cashback instead, we'll then be able to offset a lot of our everyday expenses like our groceries and fuel on a weekly basis, which isn't the worst given how expensive everything is these days. Now, once again, this probably won't give us as much value compared to earning frequent flyer reward points, but if you don't need those reward points, which we don't, or you don't have the opportunity to use them, then you really aren't getting any value out of them. So I'd much rather just bank the cash back into our pockets, as that's guaranteed money. I still will sign up to credit cards that will earn us frequent flyer points if there's a really good deal. For example, with the Velocity Fly card, if they have another promotion where they'll give you an extra 30,000 velocity points on top of the 60,000 velocity points that it already comes with, which they ran this promotion twice last year, then I'll definitely take advantage of that one. Now, in terms of which frequent flyer point I'll predominantly be focusing on, I will predominantly be focusing on earning velocity points over Qantas. I personally give the edge to velocity over Qantas right now, even with the slight devaluation in velocity points that we saw last year, as they have much more availability when it comes to redeeming business class reward flights, especially with Qatar now being a code share partner. And also you have the flexibility to transfer your velocity points to Singapore's KrisFlyer program as well. Now, even though we'll be opening a lot less credit cards that will earn us reward points, that doesn't mean that I won't be looking to earn reward points at all. I'll just be looking at other methods instead. Which brings me to the third part of our strategy, which is to earn reward points through other methods, not via sign-up bonuses. There's no doubt that churning credit cards for its sign-up bonus is probably the most lucrative way to earn the most amount of frequent flyer points in the shortest period of time. But there are actually plenty of other methods out there available to earn chunks of reward points. You can earn Qantas points by just changing your private health insurance, earn velocity points by changing your gas and electricity provider, or my favorite method is by purchasing gift cards at Coles and Woolworths whilst they're running promotions. By doing this, you can earn a stack of bonus flyby and everyday reward points, which you can then transfer to the Velocity or Qantas frequent flyer program. I did this several times late last year and easily earned over 10,000 Velocity and Qantas points respectively. There is a loading fee that you need to pay with each Visa card. However, when you compare it to the value that you're getting out of the frequent flyer points, it more than makes up for that fee. Furthermore, you can double dip your reward points by using a credit card to pay for those gift cards. Specifically for me, I use my Platinum Edge credit card, which gives me 3 AMEX reward points per dollar spent. So last year, when I was buying up a whole bunch of gift cards to pay off my ATO debts, I earned well over 15,000 AMEX reward points, plus the 20-odd thousand points between Velocity and Qantas as well. Another reason why we want to start focusing on earning reward points through other methods is because of the fourth part of our strategy, which is that we're looking to reduce the number of new credit card applications that we'll be making this year. The main reason for that is that obviously we're in a really great place in terms of the number of frequent flyer points that we have across the 3 programs. And we've already opened some of the best credit cards that are available in Australia and earned and redeemed a ton of points for travel. But one of the biggest financial goals that my partner and I have for ourselves over the next 1 to 2 years is to actually own our own house. Right now, we've been fine with renting because it suits our lifestyle really well, fits within our budget, and is great from a cash flow perspective. But we are currently in the process of building our own home, so we're looking to potentially have a mortgage at the end of this year or sometime in 2026. Because of this, towards the later half of this year, we're probably going to just stop applying for any new credit cards, essentially to just ensure that we limit the number of new hard inquiries that we have on our credit report, and then ensure we don't run into any issues when it comes to our borrowing capacity. When you're looking to apply for a mortgage, it's always good to limit any new credit card applications and even close down some of your old credit cards leading up to it, because banks will take all of your existing debts, including your HEX debts, when they determine how much they'll actually lend you. This leads me to the last part of our strategy, which is to optimize the credit cards we have in our core setup. And that's going to involve us focusing really on just making sure we're using the very best credit cards in every situation so that we're maximizing the number of points that we're receiving, especially when we're probably not going to earn as much reward points in 2025 compared to 2024. This means that we'll be using my AMEX Platinum Edge card whenever we go grocery shopping or refuel our car, because we'll earn 3 points per dollar there. For any other purchases, we'll use my partner's AMEX Explorer card, which earns us 2.25 reward points per dollar spent. And for situations where American Express isn't accepted, we'll probably use whichever MasterCard or Visa card that we have currently in our wallets. Currently, this is the St. George Amplify Rewards Platinum card, which earns us 1 point per dollar spent. For international transactions, we've been using the ANZ Rewards Travel Adventures card, which my partner has had for the past few years, which unfortunately has been discontinued as of November of 2022. The card earns us 1.5 reward points per dollar spent, whilst also having no international transaction fees. It also comes included with domestic and international travel insurance. However, it does have a $129 annual fee. There aren't really many credit cards remaining on the market that allows you to earn reward points whilst also not having any international transaction fees, which is kind of why we've been a little bit reluctant to close this card down over the past few years. The only card that I can think of that kind of has those similar characteristics is the Combank Ultimate Rewards card, which, to be honest, I don't think is that great. This is probably the only card in our core setup that we'll be looking to considering switching out later this year. Whilst it's been great to earn reward points whilst we travel, as we'll be doing less travel over the next few years, it probably makes less and less sense of us to keep the card open, especially due to the annual fee that comes along with the card. So we'll probably look to change this out to a $0 annual fee credit card that also comes with no international transaction fees. So that is pretty much our 2025 two-player credit card strategy moving forward. So if you've enjoyed the video, then make sure to hit that like button down below because it really does help out the channel, and subscribe for more credit card related content this year. And if this whole strategy sounds a little bit too complicated for you and you would much rather prefer a more simple credit card strategy that still maximizes your reward points, then you might want to check out this video right here.